Hey everybody, welcome back to South of Midnight, where it is pretty much midnight right now. At least we got midnight vibes. Can I not jump that? 0 out of 10. That's my new rating. Just kidding.
Wish me luck. If I'm not out here in a few minutes, call the authorities.
No floofs.
I don't know what to say to her. What is there to even say?
Wow. Look at this.
All of this stigma was coming from her the whole time.
We had theorized that
Can't come to
earlier,
an
that
understanding. Maybe all of this will clear up.
she was at the center of things. False Stitchers are not chosen. They're made by their own misguided ambitions. Unlike Weavers, False Stitchers gain power through harming mythical creatures. The harm they cause tears through the grand tapestry, leaving a trail of corruption behind. Kushma's hunger feeds off the regrets, hopes, and dreams of the people. Okay, so it's all of it. It's all emotions. Because we at one point we're like literally saying hopes and dreams, and then I was like, okay, maybe it's like the fear. But now it's regrets, hopes, and dreams of the people that Rue tricks into coming to the town of the tapestry. Kushma can't be destroyed, only temporarily bottled by weavers like Hazel. And then when we learned about these false... What is it here? Cosmology? False Stitchers? Then we immediately were like, oh, Bunny. Bunny's a false stitcher. I love all of the wordings that they've come up with for this world.
Are you back? How did you? Oh, you're more powerful than I thought.
Is that Molly's heart?
Why didn't it work? It should have brought Sherry back.
You can't bring back the dead.
You did something, didn't you? That's why the magic failed.
I heard your baby spirit crying. In a tree. She was in pain. I did everything I could to help her.
In pain? Or just in your way? You have no idea what loss feels like. When Cherie drowned, I was so raw it hurt to breathe. I'd see cars with those baby on board signs and just want to ram them. This town's full of people who don't deserve their kids, who beat them right in the middle of a store. Why are their children still alive and not my Cherie?
I can't imagine what it's like to lose a child. But the things you've done ain't right.
Everything I done was for Cherie. You had no right to tamper with her spirit.
You had no right. You've hurt everyone around you. You murdered Molly.
I don't want to hear this.
You need to change. To make up for what you've done.
I can't. I don't even know what to live for anymore.
There is a way you can see Cherie again.
I don't believe in heaven if you came here to kill me.
No. But there is a town for folks who can't move on. Or won't. You can't do any more harm there. But think it through, Bunny. I've seen what happens to folks who can't let go of the past. Your choice.
Cherie's baby brush. She was so tender-headed, I'd get cross with her. Now I'd give anything to brush her hair again.
And you can, my darling.
I know who you are. It won't really be her.
You'll never be able to tell the difference, I promise.
I won't.
Not if you don't want to.
You're very kind.
There's a fine line between mercy and justice. Ain't that right, Hazel Flood? You chose a hard road for yourself.
I know.
Okay, so she chose it. We didn't, like, banish her there or trap her. She knows what she's getting into. She made the choice. And she feels that even if she knows it's not the real Cherie, it's better than what she's dealing with or living through now. It's funny that we didn't just jump off of there and float.
Oh, good Lord. Are you hurt?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I got a lot to tell you.
I got time.
I'd have to go back and see when her pendant changed, because I feel like it was just like, boom, she just had this new one. You know? And I was thinking, oh, well, maybe this is like not the real her that's come back. That's not the case. So it's probably nothing to get too wrapped around. Just the fact that she was super close with Hug and Molly, right? So this is very cool. This was awesome. Loved the game. Very, very exciting. Big shout out to David Sears, the creative director. The audio, Christopher Fox, nailed it. Animation was super solid. Michael, the director there. Cinematics, Sebastian. Whitney Clayton, who did We Happy Few as well. Absolutely insane, her talent level. This is insane work creating these worlds. Like, wow. And like, I would call out everybody on this list. I really enjoyed this game. This was a breath of fresh air, honestly, in a world where, like, I don't feel like we're getting a lot of games like this anymore. At least not good ones that are polished and tell a unique story in an interesting way with a totally, like, top to bottom designed world that makes sense in its own way and has all the lore to back it up and all the different interwoven characters and backstories and stuff. I just feel like they've absolutely nailed it. Guillaume Provost, I've mentioned this a couple times in the past, but he's a friend of mine and he owns and runs this studio. In terms of development on the game, like, he wasn't the game director or anything, but he was heavily involved in Contrast and We Happy Few. Now more focused on, like, the business side of things and letting other people take the reins there. But yeah, what an overall, like, just excellently well-made game. In 2025, we're getting something that's a totally original IP. Was the platforming exceptional? It's fine. It was fine. Was the combat exceptional? I'm not gonna say exceptional, but it was very good, and it was much better than I thought that it was going to be when I first started playing. I felt like, okay, we're in these arenas, it's a little bit basic, but then once you layered on all the additional enemies that we ran into, once you layered on the additional abilities that we got access to and the upgrades, like, it was very cool. And even towards the end there, like, we were challenged if we didn't have the healing stuff. Even with some of the self-sustaining skills that we were able to pick up, you really had to be on your A game. I'm sure if we played on lower difficulties, we'd be breezing through it. But at least on the highest difficulty, I did feel like it was an adequate challenge early on, just kind of getting used to how the enemies operated. There was a couple of times where we got caught out and we weren't really focusing our skills correctly. But once we got into the swing of things, man, like, we were getting pretty unstoppable there. Big shout out to all the music in this game as well. I thought that was such a nice touch where they had these original songs written for each of the scenarios that we ran into. The one that jumps out at me the most is probably the one about Benji. Also, like, I love what they did with the stories. There seemed to be an emphasis on siblings. At least, maybe that's just what's standing out to me. But at least the family dynamic, right? And none of them were just black and white. There was always kind of a little twist to each of them where you're like, oh no, you feel for this guy or you feel for this girl. And it's like, oh, I love the twist with Hug and Molly. We kind of caught it earlier in the playthrough, but it was nice to have that affirmed that she was in fact helping these people. And I seem to remember there was one specific line where like somebody was sick or something. I was like, oh yeah, okay, she's probably helping these guys. And then we ran into our mother in the yarn cocoon. It was like she didn't look dead, you know, she looked healthy, all things considered. And I was hoping for some type of blink or movement. It wasn't there, but either way, shortly after that, we realized, okay, yes, she's actually helping all these kids with the help of our mother. And yeah, it was a very touching story too, like very, very touching. All of these are composed, arranged, and produced by Olivier Derivière. Lyrics by Compulsion, which makes sense. They're writing it, right? And then different performances. Very cool. Very cool that Olivier wrote all these. Now there's a kind of similar like tone that's going through all of them, but they all felt very unique as well. So I guess that makes a lot of sense considering that he was at the head of it and the lyrics were all by the writers. Very neat. I don't know how much of this was done by Animation Vertigo, but like, I felt like that was really good, man. Like, if you look at the animations from We Happy Few compared to this, their previous title, this is a huge step up. And We Happy Few was pretty good. But once you get into all like the platforming and all of the crazy dash moves and jumps and stuff, like you gotta get people that know what they're doing here, and they really nailed it. Like, it was solid. Also, performance, for me, was insanely good. Like, I really had no issues at all. There was a couple of times in the middle of the game where we're getting like some weird textures kind of like loading a bit flat, but I'm playing on a pre-release build. Like, this is recorded before the game's even out, all of this, which was also really nice to be able to prep all of this in advance and present it to you guys like as quickly as possible. So shout out to the marketing team for that stuff. But yeah, the opening sequence, the very, very opening sequence was actually done in stop motion and filmed. I don't know if you guys knew that, but that's a pretty cool little addition. There's a version of the game that comes with a documentary. I believe it's 40 minutes long. I have not watched it yet, but I'm going to now that I've experienced the game. And I think that'll be very interesting to just see all of the trials and tribulations that they went through. I wonder how many people are going to turn off the stop motion effect from the actual gameplay. We turned that off early on. And I think that was for the better. It does take a little bit of the artistic, maybe integrity away from the game. I don't think it would be present in like everything. Maybe just in some of the walking scenes and stuff. Because I feel like if you're fighting and you're dashing around, you kind of want that smoothness. But either way, like, I was very happy with my own playthrough for how it was presented. The smoothness was just, it was really, really, really clean. And then the cinematic scenes where it was more that stop motion kind of vibe. That was a nice contrast, I felt like, you know? So yeah, anyways, this was sick. I had a great time. If I had like some critiques, I think a couple of things that stand out. I feel like Crouton was a little bit underutilized. Like, he was cool. You'd go into those dens, avoid some spikes, jump over some stuff, get the thing, and then you're out of there. I really would have loved if they hid some of the notes in there, or if they would have allowed you to interact with some of the like little animals in their dens that we saw, stuff like that. Maybe if those dens were more puzzles than just kind of a straight path. I just feel like they could have done a bit more with Crouton. I also felt like after we solved each of the stories, or like the big, the patterns, I should say, then we had those chase scenes, right? And those chase scenes, I never felt threatened one time. And I don't know if they meant, like, they probably don't want those to be like hyper difficult or anything. But it would have been cool if you like, even if they faked it, even if you kind of had like this shroud that was like started to kind of close in on the outside of the screen to kind of simulate, oh, it's getting closer, and then you like just break through at the end. I feel like that would have been a little bit more engaging in those sequences, because while the running and the platforming in those sequences was fun, especially as we started to unlock all of our powers with like the flying in the wind tunnels and then the wall running, and then you have those grapples, you link all that together, it's super fun. I just personally would have liked to have a little bit more tension there, and I think that could have been done pretty well. I feel like people are going to be of two minds about this. I don't think it's a critique on my end, but at the end of the chapters, they would essentially do a recap of what happened while they're loading into the next area, which is smart from like a, hey, we're loading the next area thing, kind of behind the scenes technical perspective. But I wonder if some people are going to be like, okay, like, yeah, I just experienced that, and now you're kind of breaking this down as a summary. Personally, I like the summary stuff. I can just see some people maybe being like, let me figure, like, I can figure it out, you know? But to be fair, there were some nice clarifications in there that not everyone's going to catch. So I think for the vast majority, it's probably a positive, but I feel like there will be some people that felt like, yeah, I could have done without the extra hand holding there. You know what I'm saying? The only other thing that I feel like, and this is a totally minor word choice critique, but calling those things floofs, I was just like, man, I don't know. Felt a little bit weird. But who cares? At the end of the day, those could be called whatever. Orbs, souls, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. They're just things, upgrade materials. The upgrades themselves were pretty good. I liked how we had a few different branches. We had like a main branch, then each of our other things. I felt I would probably underutilize the push, but you had to be in really close for that. That was probably just more of a defensive thing to get away from the groups that would be swarming you. Maybe if we went into that last upgrade where it would, if you push multiple enemies, it would reset the cooldown. Like, that would probably be a decent one to get out of those spots where you're just like, you're never really getting stun locked, but you're just getting hit and you're low health and you just can't escape. Like, maybe you could pop one of those and get out. But yeah, all the like big mythical creatures that they came up with were really cool. Like, I feel a lot of this is Whitney's art direction and just creating these just incredibly cool worlds. I don't know, man. I feel privileged to know the studio, because they're not done here. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're already working on their next game. And I remember Guillaume teasing me during We Happy Few, telling me, oh man, wait till you see our next game. And it's like, yeah, it's just the unique worlds that they've made. I just can't get over it. Like, this is a game like this Southern Gothic style where like I would literally get posters of these characters on my wall. Like, they're all so cool. They're all so good. And like, even the big mythical creatures, like, they were, Hug and Molly was very cool. The Benji tree, like, oh man, the owl that from the Rougarou Laurent guy, they're all awesome. Like, just really nailed it. And they've done this, they create this world where like every word fits it and every character fits it and every design fits it. And it's like, it's just so cohesive. And I love seeing that in games, because like, game dev is hard, man. It is so hard to do. And I hope that these guys get, I hope they get positive reviews. I hope people enjoy this game. Is it super replayable? I don't think so. Does it have to be? I don't think so. Right? Like, how long was this? Maybe 12 to 15 hours? Like, I feel like that's like kind of perfect for games, especially if you're just telling a really cohesive, heartfelt story. You want people to be able to follow it. Yeah, man. We've got like some semi-open areas that you can explore. Not everything was on rails. I don't know. More games like this, please. I really enjoy this kind of stuff. And I felt like the pacing never got boring. I don't know. Like, am I raving too much here? Probably. I just feel like they nailed it. I never got bored. I looked forward to playing this every day for like a week. And to me, like, that's all I can ask for. That's literally all I can ask for. Somebody's like, what do you look for in a game? It's a game I'm thinking about when I'm not playing it. That is what it comes down to. And I really, really think that they did a pretty good job of this. There is some drama around this Sweet Baby team for reasons. And you can look that stuff up on the internet, not just for this game, but just for any involvement with them. That being said, I don't want that to take away from what this team has accomplished, because look how many people have worked on this game, and the hard work has paid off significantly, in my opinion. Very, very cool. Guys, I'll leave it here. We're probably at the very end of these credits. I didn't expect to be talking about this game for 15 minutes straight here, but yeah. Props to the Compulsion team, and I can't wait to see what you do next, because no doubt it's going to be insane. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the series. We'll see you in the next one. Let's see if I can skip through this here. See if there's anything at the end. Wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not expecting anything. But it'd be cool if there was something. I always like that. A little bit of an extra something at the end is always nice. Xbox PR. Very cool. Special thanks. Love it. Consultants. Call me next time. I'd love to consult. Oh!
And that's how a
Sick.
new weaver came to be in Prospero.
Well, not bad at all, Hazel Flood.
I appreciate it. I gotta get going. Instead, I meet Ma Laurent for dinner. See y'all later.
Gotta meet my Laurent for dinner. Did you say my or mom and Laurent? I'm gonna have to watch that again. I'll review the tape. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next series. The next big series on the channel will be Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which I'm super pumped for. And we'll no doubt do some stuff in between now and then. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm glad that we're getting into more story games back on the channel. Hope you guys appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Bye.